Population in developed countries, but they hold over half of all CEO positions and have produced more than half of U.S. presidents. This gap between their numbers and their power starts earlier than most people think. Before any other siblings arrive, the oldest child has mom and dad all to themselves. Studies show this means roughly 3,000 extra hours of one-on-one time between ages 2 and 4, and all that focused attention pays off. Firstborns score about 3 IQ points higher than secondborns on average. Parents also tend to be stricter and more careful with their first kid. They read the parenting books, worry about every milestone, and set high standards. The oldest learns to meet those standards, becoming more organized and rule-following than siblings who come later. There is another bonus that gets overlooked. When younger siblings show up, the oldest becomes a teacher. Explaining things to a little brother or sister actually makes the oldest smarter and more confident. Researchers call this the tutor effect. The downside is pressure. Firstborns carry their parents' biggest hopes and often become perfectionists. They report more stress and anxiety than other birth positions. Middle child. Middle children get a bad reputation. Stuck between the special status of the firstborn and the baby of the family, they often feel overlooked. Parents have less time for them, and photo albums tend to prove it. But this seeming disadvantage builds something valuable. Middle children learn early that they have to work for attention. They watch, listen, and figure out how to get along with different people. By the time they are adults, they have become expert negotiators and peacemakers. Studies back this up. In business settings, middle children consistently outperform others in deal-making and conflict resolution. They read rules well and know how to find common ground. Because their older sibling already claimed the responsible one role, middle children often go a different direction. They become the creative one, the rebel, or the family diplomat. This push to be different shows up later in life, as middle children are overrepresented among entrepreneurs and people who start social movements. They also build wider friend networks of first or youngest children. Having learned that family attention is limited, They look outward and form strong bonds outside the home. The trade-off is that middle children sometimes struggle to define themselves, feeling like they do not have a clear place. But that same flexibility makes them adaptable in ways their siblings are not. Youngest child. By the time the youngest arrives, parents have left the rules that govern the firstborn often different. Bedtime stretch later, restrictions ease, and parents worry less about small things. This looser environment shapes a different kind of person. Youngest children tend to be funnier, more charming, and more willing to take risks. They had to be. In a house full of older, smarter siblings, humor and charm were the tools that got them around. And the data supports this. Lastborns show up far more often in comedy, acting, and creative fields. They score higher on traits like openness and agreeableness. They are also more likely to try new things and challenge the way things have always been done. Part of this comes from watching siblings make mistakes first. The youngest learns what works and what does not, without having to fail themselves. They also benefit from older siblings who teach them, play with them, and sometimes do their homework for them. The flip side is that youngest children can struggle with self-discipline, used to others helping out or cutting them slack. They may find it harder to push themselves when no one is watching. But that same easygoing nature makes them some of the most likable and socially gifted people in any room. Only child. Only children get all the attention firstborns get, but they never have to share it. About 20% of American families now have just one child, and in urban China, that number tops 40%. Without siblings, only children spend more time around adults. They join grown-up conversations earlier and often develop stronger vocabularies. Studies show they match or beat firstborns on IQ and school performance. They also get comfortable being alone in ways that siblings never do. But this is not loneliness. They actually enjoy their own company. Only children often thrive in jobs that require long stretches of independent work, like writing, research, or programming. The stereotype of the spoiled only child does not hold up well under research. Most turn out just as well adjusted as kids with siblings. What does show up is high achievement drive. With all parental hopes focused on one kid, only children often push themselves hard. The challenge, on the other hand, comes in learning to share and negotiate. Siblings teach those skills through daily battles over toys, space, and parental attention. Only children have to learn them later. Usually.
Hi, Shotru. Why are you dead?
Because I forgot how to die. So.
এবার রাখ না শুনে নি
এই আমরা তো এমনি ছবি তুলবো দেখে লিপস্টিক লাগাচ্ছি
ছবি কেন তুলবা?
because yes because we can
Okay. I got my first wolves.
this should work
No, it should not.
wait এই বারান্দা কি তোমার বারান্দা ছিল
Ever to land on the moon?
huh what
What if
land
we
on
had
the moon
YouTube during the world's most iconic events?
huh
People have done some crazy things throughout history. Discovering fire, making the
What?
internet,
What?
the moon landing.
Huh?
It's such a shame that nobody was able to
Villager.
vlog it all. Those would be the sickest videos ever.
Huh?
So today I'm gonna imagine what it would be like if I was going back in time and
Why is he actually good
making
at it?
content for these major events as they were. This means I gotta get the characters to design the best thumbnails and videos possible. And at the end, we'll actually see which one would get the most views. So the brainstorming stage can kind of be split into two main categories, those being the title and the thumbnail. Coming up with good YouTube titles for this should be relatively easy because a vlog of the very first moon landing is something you kind of just gotta click on.
Swaka.
And I'm sure I'll come up with more, but let's stop
Swaka.
there for now. And let's move on to our thumbnails, which are generally more important than the title. A pretty easy one could be
Maro এটাকে, মার।
ground is the moon,
Hands up.
and our astronaut in the
Little bro.
foreground.
Kill the wolf.
I don't even have hands.
Right now our
Where's
astronaut's
Stella?
face is kind of covered up.
Stella is sleeping.
I don't have hands.
Room for a little smiley face. Anyway, let's move on to another idea. So not like super colorful though. Another mini trend in terms of YouTube thumbnails was using like an orange jumpsuit. And while wearing that in space would make no sense. I think I have seen like orange astronaut suits at some point. Let's run with that idea and do a zoomed in version and one where I'm all crouched up. Just something like this. I think each of these are pretty solid ideas, and if we're going through the effort to make one, might as well make all of them. The long story short, I essentially need to find an orange astronaut suit, like we talked about. For some reason, my first thought was to try a thrift store, and I don't know why I thought I would find anything in there. It's a thrift store. They're not going to have an entire astronaut suit in there, let alone an orange one. I did come across these boots that looked a little promising. I'm not about to drop $30 whole on a pair of boots that I'm never gonna wear again, but if we run out of options, we at least know that they're here. Anyway, let's go to Walmart or something. I spotted the Halloween section basically instantly, and they had a much better selection, but of course, no luck. Wanted that cake at Walmart might have an astronaut suit too. Camouflage. So now we're on our way to Spirit Halloween. The prices will obviously be higher, but at least they'll actually have the outfits, hopefully. I don't know, man. Spirit Halloween didn't have an astronaut suit, or anything else. I was apparently just lied to, I guess, because this store simply did not exist. From the middle of September, I thought surely they would be open by now. So I was forced to go somewhere even scarier than Spirit Halloween, Amazon. Okay, after a bit of searching, I came across a couple decent options. First, of course, we got the astronaut suit, and they got a bunch of different sizes, and I'm going 3XL, because according to the size chart, even that one won't be tall enough for me, but I'm hoping with tall enough boots, it'll cover up the difference. The next, we got the helmet. Honestly, just kind of going with the cheapest option here. And I thought about ordering some gloves as well, but they're just so overpriced, and I might as well just use some, like, gardening gloves or something. But I'm just really hoping these will work out. I'm already dropping $60 on this, and this is just the first costume. Only the first costume? What does that mean? Essentially, I originally planned for this video to include 3 different historical events, the moon landing just being the first one, but after recording all the footage, I realized this video would be over an hour long, minimum, and I'm not doing that. But what this means is I have 2 more videos like this, so make sure you subscribe to be ready for those. Alrighty, so here we are, in the void. It's been a few days and we finally have all of our items here together, meaning we should be ready to take all the pictures to match all the drawings that we made. While it would obviously be super awesome to get other celebrity type people in these thumbnails, I'm obviously just way more accessible to myself, and I'm still decently clickable. I'm still a YouTuber. Alrighty, let's take a look. This actually seems pretty decent. Look at that. It totally reaches my feet. We'll just set that aside for a second. Then, of